Hi, my name is Mika. It's a true honor to deliver some of my favorite licks and techniques to Guitartechniques magazine. And I'd like to thank you, Jason Sidwell, for inviting me and delivering me this wonderful track, this Rodeo Road. I will be going through some of my tone secrets that I used here, guitar and equipment wise. Then I will be talking a little bit about the song and the structure and what kind of things I found there interesting and what blah 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 about the song and how to improvise over that as well. And then the third part I will be showing some of my favorite moments the stuff that I played, licks and techniques, and hopefully give you some tips how to perform and get some good sounds and fun stuff out of your guitar. So let's get started with the tone. This is my Ruokangas guitar. It's a Super Strat with the humbucker, single coil and humbucker. One of my favorite tones on this is what I used in the very early part of the song and the intro. That's the second position here with a 5-way switch. That means that I got the combination of these two pickups, and that gives me that more scooped middle, more cleaner sound, less gain, and it's just perfect for, I don't know, a lot of the stuff that I play in general and for this early part of this song as well. It doesn't maybe cut through that heavily in rocking songs, but here it's kind of very cool for the early part of the song. I further with the song I switch for the full humbucker. That gives more distortion and more attack and everything, more of everything. And there's a middle section where I use again this second position, because with my clean setting, just kind of my clean tone is actually like this with a humbucker. It actually sounds very similar to my overdrive channel, but I'll get into that in a minute. But when I roll down the volume and put on this, I kind of get my favorite clean tone, which isn't really any clean tone at all, but it kind of it's kind of, yeah. And when I come back after the middle section, when it gets rocking again, I actually use humbucker neck pickup momentarily as well for a little bit more beefier sound. And that's it about the guitar and settings that I use. With the what I got here, amp and pedal wise, I got this Hughes-Gettner Spirit of Vintage one channel nano amplifier. It's a very small amp, but it's, I don't know, the way it reacts to playing is just very beautiful to me. And along with that, a very crucial part is the Cab M cabinet simulation by 2 Notes. It also does power amp simulation, which is wonderful. And the way I get sort of clean and distorted or overdrive channels, I do that with pedals. So this amp is actually set to kind of medium overdrive. And I got, wait a second, I got 3 pedals. First of all, this is without any pedals. And then I put on the pedal called Sensei. It kind of pushes some treble and some gain, a little bit of gain as well. It just makes my guitar a little bit more sort of sensitive. And when I want a overdrive channel, I put on a Cymbal Overdrive by Matt Professor, just adding more gain and attack. And when I want a clean tone, I use, instead of the overdrive pedal, I use a forest string compressor. This pedal also by Matt Professor, that it's kind of similar with humbucker, but the way it cleans up. It cleans up more easily, and it kind of creates this kind of very sparkly tone. Those are the main ingredients of the tone. In addition, I have so much all sort of reverb and delay things that it would take ages to explain it all. You can watch my full rig tour on my YouTube channel if you want. All right, next chapter. All right, let's look at Rodeo Road. This triple bass shuffle boogie. Rhythmically, obviously, it's a great exercise for us all guitar players. You never can get enough of boogie. It can be challenging, but very healthy. But yeah, the intro riff, it's all very much based on notes from the Mixolydian. I use that passing note from going from minor third up to major third, and that's a very classic thing that happens in Mixolydian many times. You hear that a lot, and I'm guessing it comes from the blues. Let's go to the A part so we get this thing started. Jason wrote chords that went like. That's all. That's all pure Mixolydian, A Mixolydian, and this riff comes 3 times, and then there is like this sort of tail at the 4th round. And it's still Mixolydian, but this sort of tail I really like to sort of pinpoint. So with this riff, I felt like, well, I can do anything. I can do the blues licks or Mixolydian melodies, whatever. But I felt like this thing I really wanted to pinpoint. So I did some like chords and such things to really pinpoint those rhythmic changes and really kind of push it there. Instead of just constantly playing licks all over the place, it's a great place to play along with those chords and those rhythm things. So yeah, over this verse, you can play the Mixolydian and blues scale. One thing that I didn't do, but you can do, is you could also use a very compatible pentatonic scale. You could play the major pentatonic. Maybe combine it to the that major pentatonic with the blues scale, or minor pentatonic with the minor pentatonic works as well, really well, if you just bend slightly that minor third always upwards. With those 3-4 scales, you can jam and have a lot of fun with this verse. The middle section of this song goes to somewhere else. The chords really sounded to me like home, because it's really based on G minor scale. Jason wrote some beautiful chords that the names of the chords: E flat major 7, It's A flat major 7 slash G might sound not like G minor, but it's just a sort of a sophisticated, more colored version of the G minor chord. And instead of playing F major, there's F6 chord. There these two chords sound so nice, and it follows by E flat major 7, and then it goes for D minor 7. Those four chords sound really nice, and they create this very nice mellow vibe for the whole part of that song. The second time, suddenly through C minor 7, we go to G major chord, and here we can't really play anymore the G minor chord, G minor scale. We have to really play something that pinpoints that major sound. In my case, I was throughout the early part of this part, I played kind of chordal sounding stuff with my lead guitar, and everything purely G minor. But when this G major chord comes, I really wanted to pinpoint that, so I played. Here's the major third. I wanted to make sure that you get to hear that sound. And this G major chord is followed by E major and F sharp major chords, and these are definitely from the G minor scale either. And whenever I hear two major chords whole step apart from each other, that makes me think of the Lydian and Mixolydian modes. That's usually a great sign of these modes being present here. So actually, looking forward, the next verse is coming right after these chords, and this time the verse that we had earlier in A now comes in B, and this Mixolydian, and here we have this kind of motion. This F sharp major chord actually takes us to the B major chord, and this is really a good sign of it has to be, well, it's serving as the sort of 5 chord, and it's a great opportunity to really boost that out and play a F sharp Mixolydian based stuff. And I'm playing something like something kind of like descending major F sharp line to really get most out of that transition to the new verse. And this new verse is now in B, but it's the same Mixolydian stuff that we did earlier in A. So just modulate your blues and Mixolydian licks a whole step and you're safe. That's what I did. Yeah, let's move on to the fun stuff, the licks and some of the techniques that I used. The very intro. I think it's a good example of very typical type of riffing that I like to do. Hybrid picking, so combining the picking many times, well, in this case it's always just down picks, and combining that to middle finger, ring finger, plugs, and I love the spanking sound that you can get with the fingers. And that's one of the things I want to remind, that the experiment with the dynamics. Try. You can get very hard and very soft sounds, and with the finger, these are really great for starting and stopping the sounds very exactly. The fingers are great for that. And with this riff, I don't know, it might be maybe easier to start something like this, especially if you're new to something, this type of riffing, is just maybe learn first the double stops. And then add those down-picked, slightly palm-muted notes in between. Next, I'd like to talk about the motif that I used in this song. It's sort of, if you ever heard any of my music that I've released as Mr. Fastfinger, or one of my most well-known song is called Wax On, Wax Off, and that uses this kind of similar same sound, and that is Mixolydian pentatonic based. This kind of almost Indian kind of sounding thing. Mixolydian pentatonic it's fully compatible with the full Mixolydian. So Mixolydian pentatonic means 5, so you just take 5 notes out of the 7, and in this case play the 1, skip the 2nd, go for the 3rd, and the 4th and the 5th, skip the 6th, and go for the 7th. Maybe the best way to get a grip over this scale easily is to use the sort of octave approach. So I would recommend put your middle finger as the root on the D string, and then find the 3, 4, 5 on the G string. And you will find the 7 always whole step, this dominant 7 whole step below the root. So it's here. So now you're doing everything on these 2 strings. Now take the same fingering, jump 2 strings and 2 frets lower, and you get to do the same thing 1 octave lower. You can do the same thing 2 strings higher and 3 frets higher this time. So anything you do, you can do now in 3 octaves. It's almost as clear as playing piano keyboard, where you can see the octaves very clearly. You can copy paste your ideas. And so my motif I wrote using this Mixolydian pentatonic. And motifs is something that I really like to use. Simple motifs you can repeat and variate, and they sort of become, all you need is just a few notes, like that's the motif, 4 notes, and then you have different tail, or a little bit longer and hairy tail. And the 3rd time you actually hear this motif in this song is I played exactly the same thing as I just start this same kind of melodic curve from the 4th note of the scale, and it's still very recognizable, even though I'm using different notes. It's a similar curve and similar rhythmic thing. Use of motifs is a lot of fun and worth studying. great food for melodic improvising. Believe it or not, but this is basically a 3-note pattern. You play a note, then you play a lower note, sort of the pedal note, and then you repeat the original first note. And then you use the main note. Now you pull off to another new note. So, and you come back for that pedal tone. Then you repeat again that first note. It's always the first and the third note are the same, and then you have that one middle note between these. And well, maybe it's even clearer if I leave that lower note out. You can hear this. This is on one string. What happens here in my lick is basically I'm using a hammer-on from nowhere to suddenly move from the pair of B and G strings to using G and D strings. So here I'm moving the sort of lower pedal tone to D string. I could carry on here forever. But I even go a little bit lower by doing a position shift with a slide. After these, immediately there's something very typical of me happening. It's something that I call 2-1-2. 2-note, 1-note, 2-note per string. And it's very handy for playing major 7 arpeggio or any 7-chord arpeggios. Here I'm doing. So it's 2 notes. I pick a note, then I pull off. And in this case, I sometimes I use sweep picking technique, but here I'm just using a full hammer-on pull-off. I'm hammering that 1 note on D string, and then I go for those 2 strings, two notes per string on A string, and that is 14 and 10. And this is the major 7 chord. You could easily do a major 9 arpeggio. But anyway, I do this. But then here I just expand everything by sliding down and do some extra notes down the scale. Later on in this song I got something similar, this time with triad. This time I'm using more like sweep picking approach, but it's triad, and then a position shift, legato slide up here, and then I carry on. Notice here's the major 9 arpeggio, and then I go upwards. Maybe do a legato shift. Something like that, but it's when I'm going up upwards, I'm doing just downstrokes, so down hammer, and when I'm going downwards, I'm doing just upstrokes. This is a lot of fun. All the sweep picking rules apply here. The crucial moments are the turning points. here you start with this note, and then you go down 1 fret, and you do a quick pre-bend, and then do the note again, but release that, and then continue. Here, the same concept. You legato slide downwards, half step, and then do a quick pre-bend with your first finger, which will be very angry when you start practicing this, because it kind of takes a little while to get used for the finger to get used to this action. Yeah. If you do this is a little bit easier because you get to use all the fingers to support that full step bend. Again, it's a quick pre-bend. One very exciting lick that I still want to show you is that string skip thing, which is easy. This is very towards the end. Just basically not. Thanks to the fingers, I mean, plucking the notes on E string first, and then picking the note on G string. Then you carry on your picking hand and pick that note on A string. But then you can pluck that note on G string, so you don't have to move your hand back to G string, back and forth. It's just. It's very striking, bold sounding lick that grabs all the attention from the listener. I hope you got some good stuff out of this. Hope it wasn't too much. And just if you found something, focus on that and try it with the backing track. And thank you for watching, and thank you to Jason and Guitar Techniques. This was truly an honor. See you soon, and wax on.